Hello, it is Saturday, September 4th, 2021. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to my New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Saturday puzzle, and that is a little bit intimidating because yesterday's Friday puzzle I found to be quite tricky, and as we all know, the Saturday puzzle is often more difficult than that, the most difficult puzzle of the week. But speaking of yesterday's difficult puzzle, as befitting, I think, a difficult puzzle, there were quite a few bits of interesting information and context in the comments that I'm going to read. And because there were quite a few, I'm going to go through them relatively quickly. Kathy Swope points out that John Raitt, with whom I was not familiar, is Bonnie Raitt's father, best known on Broadway for Carousel and Oklahoma. So that fits the Carousel clue from yesterday. Now, a number of people pointed out this next clue, so I'm just going to read what I saw was the first example of it. Gunnowan Evan points out, I think the 37 down clue is incorrect. And this was the aircraft carrier clue. This commenter says, I think the answer is referring to the Grumman F-6F Hellcat, which is a carrier-based fighter aircraft, not an aircraft carrier. I don't know of any aircraft carriers that go by the name Hellcat. It's possible I might be misunderstanding the clue here. I don't think you are misunderstanding the clue because several other people chimed in with precisely the same observations. So this might have just been a case where either the constructor or Will Shortz, the editor, saw carrier aircraft and maybe thought that doesn't sound right. It should be aircraft carrier and flipped it around. I don't know. Ian Smith says, you're right that the phrase, the tail wags the dog, refers to the people at the bottom of an organization controlling or manipulating the people at the top. But the similar phrase, wags the dog, only refers to diversions from political scandals. And Scott Magoon says that phrase was derived from the movie, which I referenced at the end of the crossword puzzle. I looked it up, and I think it technically derives from the book on which the movie was based, which is a pretty minor distinction. But yes, I think Scott, you're basically correct. And so it is a slight tweak on the term, the tail wags the dog, wag the dog. It does seem to refer to in American, I guess, political jargon, a distracting event politically. Gankra makes the observation that elided pronoun, referring to y'all, in addition to literally eliding you all, could also be gaining popularity because it elides gender. It is a gender-neutral second person pronoun, which is interesting, as opposed to something like guys. So that makes sense entirely as well. I don't. This person doesn't know if that's what the constructor was getting at. Suspects maybe not, but it was an interesting observation, I thought. And Sam Gronhovd says that krill are consumed by blue whales who are filter feeders, which was part of that clue. So helpful there. And the Effin Crow says, for some context on Pro-Am, the professional amateur charity bowling event that came up in the crossword yesterday, this commenter says, the charity bowling event form being referred to here tends not to be the pros and amateurs compete without distinction sort, but instead a form where an equal number of pros and amateurs compete against each other. So, interesting. And then EV Anarch points out that close-up magic, which was something that I sort of guessed my way through in the puzzle, but wasn't personally familiar with. Close-up magic, this person didn't... There was someone who actually explained what it was, and I guess I bookmarked the wrong comment, but I remember that it is a type of magic that explicitly is close-up and deals with sleight of hand. It is an actual category of magic, and someone did explain that, but I can't remember who it was now. I'm sorry. Suncop says, I'm stunned that Chris has not seen I Think You Should Leave. It's an instant classic, funniest sketch show in years. This was the, I think, Tim Robinson clue that I wasn't familiar with, and I realized afterwards I have actually seen at least some of that show. I just didn't remember it was called I Think You Should Leave, since it's sort of an odd name. So sorry about that, everyone. And Rahul Shah says, the one-inch punch was popularized by Bruce Lee, and my youthful fascination with him meant I immediately knew that one. There were several comments to that effect. So that was the one-inch punch that I fumbled around thinking one palm punch, one fist punch, before arriving at one-inch punch. Apparently a Bruce Lee move. So there we go. All right, that was a brisk tour through yesterday's clues, and let's get on to today's Saturday crossword puzzle. This is a crossword by Byron Walden, edited, as always, by Will Shorts. I expect it to be difficult. Are we ready to get started? Okay. Rush order. I see a lot of long answers in this clue, which on a Saturday is always a little bit foreboding. Capital on the Gulf of Guinea. Oh boy. Bet involving score totals. Trifecta, maybe? Nope. Too good to be true. Doesn't fit. A site at low tide. Coral, maybe? If it's low tide, you might see things that are under the water level. Havens. Havens. Not sure. Probably end with an S, though. So anyway, let's keep going. Mental or fiscal tightness. Miserliness. Parsimony. That obviously doesn't fit. Parsimony fits. So if you're parsimonious, you're, don't spend easily. Let's see if we can confirm or deny this. Admit. Oh, it could be cop to. Cricket fields, e.g. Cricket fields, e.g. Ovals, maybe? There's a here in London, there's a famous cricket field that's the Oval. I wonder if that's 90 Day Fiancé channel, TLC channel. Swag for sale, merchandise. Sounds of hesitation. I am susceptible to these. Could be ums or ahs or ers. Could be any of those, really. Rush order. Come on now. Seem not incredibly confident about that, but sounds of hesitation could be ers. To give notice could be to quit. Come quick. That works better. Sort of technically grammatically incorrect, but that's fine. It's a thing people say. That makes it okay. Give notice, quit, right? Access to a country club in brief. Access to a country club in brief. On or up. When a word starts with U and then has another consonant right after like that, it feels as though I want it to be un or up something. Because it's an unusual letter to kick off a word in English. Let's see. Bet involving score. Oh, over under. Aha, there we go. Great. A bet involving score totals over under when you place a bet on whether the score will be over under a certain number. Superman's dog. Crystal. Not sure. Access to a country club in brief. I don't know. There's a question mark here. So there's some sort of pun going on, but I'm not really sure. Country, is it referring to a nation rather than a country club? I just don't know. Better off not knowing. Better off not knowing. It's interesting that it starts with I, because I feel as though when you say better off not knowing, you're sort of warning the other person, you're better off not knowing, but maybe it's about oneself. I'm not sure. Hockey players who face off in a face-off. I don't know, but I'm going to say centers, which is a type of player that some sports people are. So I'll say it's that, and we'll see. And if they're in the center, they would be the ones who would face off against each other, right? That makes sense. Okay. TV lingo for using established hits to prop up weaker shows. I don't know. I don't know. Government plant inspector. All right, this is one that is specific to the United States, but does pop up in crosswords not infrequently. So if you don't know this acronym, here's a good one to remember. It is OSHA, which is the Office of Occupational Safety and Health Administration. I'm completely guessing there. This is one of those things I've put into so many crosswords. It's become purely an acronym to me, and I don't really know what it stands for. But if I had to guess, it would be something like Occupational Safety and Health agency or administration or something like that. And they oversee safety in the workplace and factories and things like that. I mean, everywhere, not just factories, but probably most significantly, that sort of more dangerous work environment. Mostly online writing genre. I would have guessed fanfic if not for this A. Car model whose name becomes an NBA superstar when its middle letter is removed. Oh, interesting. And I think I'm actually able to get this right off the bat, which is I'm pleased about. A LeBaron. A Chrysler LeBaron. Does Chrysler even exist anymore? I don't know. But a LeBaron is, or was, a model of car. And if you remove the A, you get LeBron, as in LeBron James. So that's one American clue that contracts into another American clue. Might be tough for some folks who are not from the U.S. Okay, let's see. Better off not knowing. I don't ask? So is this essentially saying, I don't ask, I don't want to know, better off not knowing? That's sort of odd. I'm not crazy about this clue and answer, if so, but I could be wrong, of course. Superman's dog, access to a country club. All right. TV lingo for using established hits to prop up weaker shows. I wonder if this... I've never heard this in the context of television, and I actually haven't really heard it used precisely in this context, but I wonder if it's tent poling. The reason I say that is because when a major film is released, the studio often refers to their biggest, most surefire hits as their tent poles. In other words, the pole of the tent that supports the highest point, and then the rest of the tent falls down from that, and the rest of what falls down is the rest of the studio's slate of films that are sort of being buoyed up. They're being carried by this big tentpole release. So I wonder if that must be what this is. I mean, it must be. It absolutely must be. Okay, access to a country club in brief. On membership? Oh, it is. Oh, wow, brilliant. It is countries as in nation states. It is UN membership, a club of countries. The countries of Earth are in a club together, and it's the United Nations. And if you have UN membership, you are a member of that club. Wow, very, very clever. The Greek philosopher Empedocles leapt into its flames in legend. This doesn't look right, does it? Maybe I don't ask is wrong, and my denigration of this clue and answer was silly? Or do I just not know the name of a philosopher whose name begins with MT, which is totally possible? This looks like it could be crypto. I mean, there are very few letters that could fit here. H, crypho, that doesn't look right at all. Doesn't sound like anything. I'm going to guess it's crypto. 1914 Freud essay that introduced the concept of ego ideal. What is going on here? Am I missing something? My guess would have been an essay would start with on, like On Photography by Susan Sontag or something like that. I'm pretty confident about LeBaron. This whole area looks bizarre. This might be an A. I bet this is an A or something rather than an S, plural. It's a different sort of plural. Havens. Parasite co-star Blank Woo Shik. I don't know. I saw that film, but I don't remember this person's name, unfortunately. Sorry to the classics educated among you who could probably sort out this mess much better than I'm currently doing. Let's keep looking around, see what happens. Considered a participant. I don't know, I would have said in the game or something, but I'm pretty confident about tent polling. Chaparral or savanna. These are sort of dry biomes. Arid areas, desert areas, brush. It's a category of of environment where certain plant, you'll have plants that grow in chaparral areas, for instance. Um, Boy, I know what this is, but I just don't know. Well, I mean, I know what it is conceptually, but I quite obviously don't know what the answer is. Calculus prerequisite. Let's see, abbreviation algebra, perhaps? ALG? Just underway, so to speak. Just underway. Oops. Site at low tide. Oh, maybe it is coral. That would be nice. And havens. Why am I not seeing this? Parasite co-star, considered a participant. Chaparral or Savannah. I mean, algebra could be incorrect. There could be other prerequisites for calculus. Could it be a different form of calculus? Isn't one meaning of calculus something in your teeth? I don't know. Mostly online writing genre. It could be alt-fic or alt-lic, alternative, in the sense of meaning sort of indie or not mainstream. Needing a jolt. Iranian port near the Iraq border. I want to say this is going to start with A, but I can't bring the rest of it to mind. I probably will with some crosses. Hippie confab. So, an abbreviated term for what? A gathering of hippies? A be-in, I think? The idea of sort of just inhabiting a place and being there, I think that's sort of rings a bell. It's just Abaddon. Sorry, I'm being very spacey. Let me recenter myself here. Let's get going. To move informally. Could be to sell, to relo, maybe to relocate. Actually, relo is probably good because that's informal, and it could be move as in move house. That's that meaning of move. Tartar topper. Caviar, maybe? That would make this something else. Move. Would you top a tartar with caviar? Tartar meaning a sort of raw preparation of, fish or steak. Maybe. What else tops a tartar? An egg? Raw egg? Oh, that would make relo work. Oh, great. So if that's relo, and tartar is often topped with a raw egg, and then you mix it together. Roves about could be gads about. So the phrase, easy way to remember this is if you remember the phrase a gadabout, a person is a gadabout, someone who's sort of on the town frequently and is always around and sort of popping into different places, that sort of thing. Oh, Marengo for Napoleon. Marengo is Napoleon's horse, his steed, and there's a dish, chicken Marengo. Oh, wait, I think so. I think Marengo was the site of a battle at which Napoleon was triumphant, and maybe he named his horse after it, and also named after, not the horse, but the battle. There's a dish called chicken Marengo. So that's, I think that's all. I might be getting one element of that wrong. Let me know in the comments if so. Favorite. I think he named his horse Marengo. Burrow into, delve into. Favorite. Oh, pet. In other words, it's sort of teacher's pet, the teacher's favorite. Where some high schoolers get DNA tests. Not sure. AP lab? I mean, a DNA test in a lab? Not sure. Completely routes. So, what? Utterly defeats, maybe? Got in a lather, say. Enraged. Oh boy, this area up here is really driving me nuts. Let's keep going. Kingdom whose capital is Nuku'alofa. Tonga, maybe? Annual celebration during which sweeping is taboo. Could it be Tet? Chaparral or Savannah? All right, here, let's see. Rangeland? Is that something? Capital on the Gulf of Guinea. Oh, could it be Accra? No, that's not right. I don't think. What if I put in rangeland and look at the clues? This would be Abaddon. It seems right to me. This could be Tonga. Wow. Okay, great. In the works. Oh, brewing. I've got something brewing. I've got a crossword solve brewing here. That's not really how you'd say that. Considered a participant. Entered in. No. Printed in. Yeah, I want this to be in. Latin American spread. Hacienda? It's not really a spread, is it? What does it mean by spread? Does it mean spread like sprawl, like suburban sprawl? Could that be hacienda? I'm trying to find a way to make hacienda work, but it's probably not the answer. Florida city with a large Cuban American population, 70+%. Absolutely no clue. Ancient siege weapon for launching stones. Oh, a trebuchet, a catapult, ballista. I thought a ballista, ballista looks like it might work. I thought a ballista was more like a huge crossbow. Obviously not, I suppose. Or is that a... Yeah, so what distinguishes a catapult, a trebuchet, and a ballista? What is the difference between those three things? I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. I like having this sort of comment-based sort of internet search engine that just answers all my questions for me. It's very nice. Falling hard. Hurling. Falling hard. Hauling. Not sure. Boy, this looks like hacienda, but it's, I don't know. All right. 1914 Freud essay that introduced the concept of ego ideal on narcissism? I was going to say narcolepsy, but that doesn't make any sense. Narcissism seems more likely with something dealing with the ego ideal. Maybe this is hacienda. Terminus. Oops. Sorry. Term terminus. It could be end of term, end of the school term. So it could be your final exams, your finals. Electron attractors. Could it be anions? This came up in a recent puzzle. What was it? Anions and... I already forget what the other one is. Sorry. Someone had the very useful mnemonic. An anion is a negative ion. AN for a negative, which is very clever, and I like that a lot. So an anion, a negative ion, and I guess it's an electron attractor. Seems plausible. So falling hard. Hauling? Hailing? Oh, hailing. Falling hard from the sky. I see. It's really hailing out there. It's really falling hard out there. I guess that works. I'm not going to know this Florida city until it's basically entirely filled through crosses, I suspect. Someone who has it all. Could end in ist. If it's someone who, belongs to a group or type, it could end in ist. Hip-hop subgenre. Trap, maybe? Got in a lather, say. Stampeded? Does that... Completely routes. Oh, it must not be anions. Sorry. After all of that, with that mnemonic and everything, I don't even think it was anions, because completely routes, I think, is eats alive. In other words, if you completely rout your opponent, you absolutely have demolished them. You've eaten them alive, I think is what that is. Where some high schoolers get DNA tests. AP Bio? So AP, in the context of American high school, stands for Advanced Placement, and it's a category of class and test that can be administered or taken. So I'm thinking maybe Advanced Placement Biology, I don't know. Greeting in Rio. Hola. That's what they say. In Brazil. Got into a lather, say. Oh, shampooed? So wait, sorry. Greeting in Rio. It's not hola, is it hello? Huh. Electron attractors. Oh, maybe anodes? The opposite of diode? Could that be right? As you like it. Desirable. Ah, so if the way you like it is desirable if it is the way you like it. And so yes, that's allo, I guess. And this is AP Bio. Here we have someone who has it all. I don't know, completionist obviously doesn't fit. Malt liquor bottle in slang. Oh, I think a 40. What is that even? 40 ounces? What is it 40 of? That seems like far too many ounces. Maybe it is, though. Try to get down. Sty sound. A bleat? Could you have sheep in a sty? I don't think of pigs bleating, but I also don't think of sheep being in a sty. But let's put it in and check the crosses, and if the crosses don't work, I'll get rid of it. Favorite novelist of Twihards. Is that what you call someone who's really into Twilight? The novels? I don't remember the name of the person who wrote those novels. Slush pile contents. The slush pile is sort of petty cash, right? It's in a business. It's sort of excess cash you have lying around for office expenses. I don't know. So I'm not sure what this would be. So I'm going to remove bleat because I'm not confident enough and I don't have crosses yet. Someone who has it all. Optimist. Oh, this is bad because I just haven't a clue what this is. I guess I'm probably at a certain point going to have to go out on a limb and say this is Hacienda, even though I don't understand why. I'm sure someone will enlighten me. Waifs. Naifs? Babes? A waif. I mean, I guess a waif could be someone who's naive, but also alternatively could be someone who's sort of very light and insubstantial, very thin. Out of whimsy. On a lark. I think the very first tweet that when I posted to Twitter, the first time I did one of these crosswords, I said, I'm trying something on a lark. Trying something out of whimsy. I'm going to solve a crossword on the internet. Join me. And here I'm still doing it 2 or 3 months later. Better off not knowing. This does look like I don't ask. So this must be, sorry for the classics people who know this, unlike me. I don't know it. So yeah, I don't ask. It really looks like that. So needing a jolt could be something less. Effervescence. So this could be elan, sort of verve, doing something with gusto, with spirit, with elan, with effervescence. Waifs, right. Needing a jolt. Blank is the beginning of wisdom, not the end. It's the beginning of wisdom, not the end, is where the emphasis should be. Knowledge sort of sounds like the kind of thing this would be, but I don't know. I'm not familiar with the source of that quote. I mean, obviously it's Star Trek something, presumably Mr. Spock. Maybe not. Is there a different Spock? I don't know. Shortly. In due course, maybe? No, in due time? Just because of the end sort of seems plausible. Right back at you. Oh, maybe needing a jolt is listless. If you're listless, you're sort of, you're not really together. You're not fully alert. All right, blank is the beginning of wisdom, not the end. I don't know. I'm sorry. Waifs. Maybe it's not in due time. First 2 words of Shelley's Ozymandias. Oh boy, this is that poem. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. But I don't remember how it starts. It's a traveler coming up to the ruin. I don't recall. I might have to delete in due time if I can't confirm or deny any of it. Bivouac site. So bivouacking is camping with a tent, I think, right? Is that right? A peg for the tent? I don't know. It doesn't seem very plausible. Let's look down here. Favorite novelist of Twihards, right? Oh, what is the name of the person who wrote Twilight? I'm sorry. Sty Sound. I don't know. I don't think I have enough to be confident about in due time. Is it Stephanie Meyer? That just came to me. Is that what it is? Stephanie Meyer, I think, wrote Twilight. Slush pile contents. Money? M-O-N? Sty Sound. Is there a different meaning of slush pile, maybe? Try to get down. Try to get down. So it could be to try to sort of understand something, to try to get down with it, but it could be to try to get a number, to try to sort of depress a trend, to try to get numbers down. I don't know. Oh, here this mostly online writing genre looks like alt-lit at this point. First two words of Shelley's Ozymandias. I sat? I don't know. Just underway, so to speak. But so to speak, I'm not really sure what that's doing. It's important. They wouldn't say so to speak unless it had an important effect on how to interpret just underway, but I'm not immediately seeing it for some reason. What is this again? Considered a participant. Printed in? I'm sorry. This maybe I shouldn't have put coral in here. Is that throwing me off at all? Sorry, folks. I was doing okay for a while there. I mean, this is a tricky crossword, but I had some lucky entrees, I think, with parsimony and tent polling in particular. But I'm struggling a bit. Just underway. It's down here again. Sty Sound. Try to get down. Maybe Acra was right here. I'm going to put that back in. Needs something to point me in the right direction. Considered a participant. Oh, counted in. Counted in. So coral was wrong. Oh, shoal. Yes. So shoal. Yes. Okay. I actually don't entirely know what shoals are composed of materially, but I do know that it's related to sort of tideland. You hear about that, the shoals of, given body of water. Oh, havens is asyla, plural of asylum. So there we go. And then just underway, so to speak, young. In other words, the night is young. The night is just underway. Parasite co-star Choi Woo-shik. I hope that's correct. Crypto, I guess. Blah. This must be... I mean, UN membership couldn't possibly be wrong, could it? Someone who has it all. Someone who has it all. I'm really sorry. I'm sure this at this point in the puzzle, I'm sure there are things that people are yelling at me about nonstop. Oh, wait a second. Oh, my goodness. I am a complete idiot. I am an utter bozo. Okay, sorry. For some reason, I've been utterly misreading this clue. The Greek philosopher Empedocles leapt into its flames in legend. Even though I've read this 2 or 3 times now, I interpreted it as referring to a philosopher, which is ridiculous. It doesn't... I was trying to think of the name of a philosopher. It's asking for the thing that it produces the flames that Empedocles jumped into, Mount Etna. I was trying to figure out why these letters didn't make any sense to me as a name, but it's Mount Etna. volcano that erupted. Oh, I'm really sorry about that. That was a blatant case of me just utterly misreading a clue repeatedly. And once I misread it the first time, it just sort of went into my brain that way, and I didn't reevaluate the language as written. Very sorry about that. Okay, let's see. Can we... Maybe that'll kickstart. Maybe that'll get me back into gear here. It was very listless for a while there. Right back at you. Oh, same to you. There you go. I don't think I saw it. Did I look at that? I think I maybe looked at that early on before I had any crosses. So let's see. Does that help here? Waifs. Not sure, actually. First two words of Shelley's Ozymandias. Oh, here we go. It must be I or A at the beginning, because the second word isn't going to just be ET. So it could be yet, shortly, in any moment. Could listless be wrong? Any moment? Maybe that's the... Oh, here we go. Somebody who has it all is a monopolist. Very, very clever clue. Very good answer. It just took me absolutely ages. I think I'm going to have to take a risk here on hacienda for Latin American spread and hialeah. I'm sure there's a very obvious way in which a hacienda, sort of a form of, residential building, presumably, is a spread. And I'm sure it's very clear, and I'm just missing something obvious, staring me in the face. Oh, I met. First two words of Shelley's Ozymandias. There we go. That makes sense. Bivouac site. Oh, could be a cot. Could be a cot in your tent. Blank is the beginning of wisdom, not the end. Logic is the beginning of wisdom, not the end. Okay, that's good. Lastless, though. Oh, it's not any moment. It's in a moment. Sorry about that. We have gammons for waifs. I guess so. Sty sound. A snort. A snort. That's better. That fits pigs. All right. Here, it's all coming together. Jobs versus Gates. The hippie and the nerd, I guess. And slush pile contents. And try to get down. Try to get down. Study. To try to get some information down to study it. So what is slush pile? Oh, it must be manuscripts. Oh, sorry. So a slush fund would be in a company, the sort of petty cash, whereas a slush pile is at a publisher, the manuscripts they've been sent to read. That's the slush pile. So MS's manuscripts. So I'm hoping this is H. Let's see how this goes. There we go. Okay. I would say another tricky puzzle. Another tricky puzzle. Not really sure how to balance it against yesterday's puzzle in terms of difficulty. I found them both pretty tough. I'm curious to know how you fared. I think there was less in this puzzle that I was explicitly unfamiliar with relative to yesterday, but it was a tough puzzle. What was I unfamiliar with in this puzzle? Let's see. Not very much, to be totally honest. Definitely Hialeah. I don't even know that I've heard the name of this city before. And Hacienda, I just want to know the presumably very obvious way in which this clue works. But some very good cluing in this puzzle. I really liked some of the clues. Rush order, come quick is pretty clever. I like that. This was interesting. This tent polling thing. Again, I was familiar with that in the film industry, not so much in television, but it makes sense. It's the same concept. Tet, I had to sort of take a guess on as an annual celebration. Tet is an annual celebration. Didn't know that sweeping is taboo, so I'll have to read up on that. This was very clever. The car model whose name becomes an NBA superstar when its middle letter is removed. Very clever. LeBaron to LeBron. I wonder how... I mean, LeBron James seems like a bit of an international star at this point, so maybe that's not... doesn't require incredibly American knowledge. But LeBaron, I don't know. That's probably a bit obscure. Needing a jolt for listless is pretty good. I wish I'd remembered I met from Ozymandias more quickly, but I absolutely didn't. Let's see. Someone who has it all, monopolist. Great clue. Great answer to a great clue. Just kind of glancing through, seeing what else I really liked in here. Access to a country club in brief UN membership is top tier cluing. Absolute brilliance. I love that. Well done, Byron Walden. Let's see. Wasn't familiar necessarily with rangeland. I sort of had to guess on that because, you hear out on the range, that kind of thing. So I'm sure that's a perfectly legitimate term. It just wasn't one I was personally familiar with. Oh, Elon for effervescence. That's something you should know in crosswords. Elon comes up with, some degree of frequency, I would say. Tartar topper raw egg was sort of fun to get, I thought. Nothing incredibly clever about it. It's very straightforward, but it was sort of fun to be able to get that without too many crosses. And ballista, I need to drill down. I need to delve into the distinction between trebuchet, catapult, and ballista. Interested about that. Hialeah, guess I should look up. Just never heard of it. Marengo for Napoleon was probably a lucky one for me. That's probably not necessarily ubiquitous knowledge, but you might be able to guess, especially if you had the S, that it was steed. Yeah, so there we go. A tough puzzle, I thought. Let me know how you fared. I think Byron Walden I think I've seen that name before. I think this is an experienced constructor, which would make sense. This was a, pretty well-constructed puzzle. Lots of long answers, which can be very difficult if you don't have enough crosses. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the puzzle. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I hope you're enjoying these videos in general. I hope they're useful to you, or at least mildly entertaining. That would be good. And if they are, subscribe, and then you will see the videos as they go up each day according to your notification preferences. Why not pass it along to a friend? Maybe a friend who can explain to me the difference between a ballista, a trebuchet, and a catapult. And they can put it in the comments, and then I can read it, and then the circle of life has been complete. Tid, I guess. And if you are particularly enjoying this series and you would like to help contribute to its ongoing sustainability, why not toss me a couple of quid or a few bucks on my Ko-fi donation page? I'm thinking about, I think I mentioned a couple times this week, I'm thinking about how to put together something that is maybe incentivizes people to do the monthly donation. I was thinking maybe I could do the New York Times monthly bonus puzzle on there, and maybe sort of occasional historical crossword puzzles from the past that are particularly interesting. I have an idea about one of those I would like to solve. So I might put something like that together in the coming weeks. I'm trying to decide if it makes more sense to do it on Patreon or Ko-fi. I've been using Ko-fi already and I like it, but Patreon is a bigger platform that more people probably already have logins to. So if you have any thoughts on that, let me know in the comments or whatever else. Be curious for your thoughts. And I think that's it. Thank you so much to everyone who has contributed, especially those of you doing so on a monthly basis. It means a lot to me, and it will, I really think, help keep this thing going. So I will let you have an excellent rest of your Saturday, and I hope you join me again tomorrow for the Sunday crossword. Probably easier than this one, but also probably a little longer. So it goes on Sundays. All right, with that, take care.